Hey, good morning to everybody. Happy Friday. It's Daryl here. It is 7 a.m. here in Connecticut on the East Coast, and I am fired up. I want to talk about Attorney General Barr. I want to talk about Olivia Troye, and then I just want to talk about Trump supporters in denial and ignorance. But first, let me start with Attorney General Barr. Yesterday, in my video, I missed a very important statement by Attorney General Barr about equating slavery to what he called house arrest, or basically he made it sound like what the precautions we've used to mitigate the COVID-19 virus over the last 8 months. He was making it sound as if we're basically locked in our homes, and he equated it to being just under second, with slavery being first, this being the second worst atrocity on our human rights in America, our freedoms. Sitting there with his big gut hanging out, spewing this ignorance. Now, I'm not a Black American, but I would be if I'm angry about that statement, and I'm Native American. I don't even know where to start with an ignorant statement like this, equating simple measures to put a mask on to the horrors of slavery. I recently watched the movie Harriet, about Harriet Tubman. And I had to turn the movie off. At the very beginning, a slave, and I think it was her husband, had to go to the plantation, their owner, and ask for permission to have a child. And what that slave owner said was so horrifying. They asked that the child be able to grow up and be free, because they had made an agreement with this plantation owner. And the plantation owner went back on his word and said, you know what? Not only will you be my property until you die, but so will your child. Your child will be my property until he dies, or he or she dies. I had to shut the video off, seriously, at that point. I mean, I've known the realities of slavery all along, but when you see it in that context, that they had to ask for permission, they didn't enjoy the simple things of marriage and having children, and the ownership of their bodies. And to have Attorney General Barr compare simple measures that we've used to help America get back on track, wearing masks. I don't know. Here in Connecticut, nobody was locked in a house. Nobody was locked in their homes. We had some of the strictest measures. We got a $100 fine right now if you don't wear a mask, if you don't social distance. And that's it. It's all you got to do. How hard is that? And he compares this to the atrocities of slavery, of human beings in bondage. Let me go on just one more time before I lay into the Trump supporters. Olivia Troye, she was an advisor to Pence on Homeland Security, which they tied into COVID-19. And she sat in with the president and Pence on a lot of meetings. And she said that she couldn't take it anymore. She quit, and she's now going to vote for Biden. Some of her quotes were, Donald Trump said that maybe the COVID-19 virus is a good thing, because then he won't have to shake hands with these disgusting people. This is her quote. Now, I know Trump supporters are going to say, she's a liar. She's a disgruntled employee. That's pretty much what Pence has come out and said. Pence isn't as good a practiced liar as Trump is. Like I said, man, I could spot a liar. I could spot manipulation a mile away, because I did it for 2 decades. And I could spot it. And if you watch Pence trying to make her look bad, he says that she's just another employee. playing politics, he pauses. He pauses and he goes like, or something like that. And just that right there, these little things, I can't even describe them to you in words, but there's little tells that I see that Pence is a liar. He knows that Trump said stuff like this. So you Trump supporters, you're the disgusting people that Donald Trump doesn't want to shake hands with. Let me talk, now that I've talked about those two, this is the meat of it. Riding my bike yesterday, I went by a house. Some houses around here, they have Trump's signs. Very nice houses. And I don't understand for the life of me, after hearing all this stuff for the last 4 years, knowing that this man is a liar, that this man has no character, that they're okay with his dishonesty, they're okay with his nicknames, his name calling, his childish antics, his almost illiteracy, his vocabulary of a third grade kid. How can they possibly put these signs in front of their homes and proudly say to their neighbors, yeah, that's the guy I support? I don't get it. I just don't get it. So I went by a house on my bike and it had a big Trump sign. It's a nice house, nice condition. I think it's some older folks, probably older than me, that live there. And then they have the Trump sign. And then they have a I love a big Jesus heart and other Jesus things. How can you be such a follower, such a lover of Jesus Christ, and support Donald Trump? When you saw him walk across the square in Washington, D.C. and hold up that Bible, I think most religious people were offended. He wasn't reading the Bible. He wasn't talking about the Bible. He was using the Bible purely as a political prop. He was using your Lord and Savior as a prop. How can people like that, these Trump supporters, put that sign up in the same window? How can people be so blind? I have so much to say about this because it's been building up. Basically, again, I'm looking at two different kinds of Trump supporters. There's the Trump supporters that know that he's a big liar. These are just the negative, nasty, mean, envious people of the world. And it's not about the country. It's not about patriotism. It's not about democracy. They know he's damaging the country. They just don't think it's going to affect them. And they don't care. What they really are looking for is for people like me to get angry. They love it. It's that negative vibe. They love just sticking it to liberals, to people. It goes back to Obama. They really didn't like it. I think these people are scared of different gender roles and all that, and it frightens them. And I think they know the truth about Trump. They know he's a liar. They know he's not good for the country, but they just simply get a joy, a rush out of seeing him inflict this fear and angst in the rest of the country, like me. Then there's people like my family and people probably like the Trump supporter with the Jesus sign in the window. Older Americans. One of the people I love most in this world, one of my family members, one of the people I love most in this world is a Trump supporter. And she doesn't even, I asked her what station she watches, because she's sure that Joe Biden is going to turn the country into communism and set buildings on fire. Seriously, that's what she believes. How could it be that this family member, of course I already know why she's been brainwashed with these fears. So I asked her what station she watches, and she's so much of the older generation that she's not even familiar with the cable channels. She watches Fox News every single day and night. She loves Hannity. She says, I don't know what channel I watch. I love Hannity though. And I love Donald Trump. Then she watches this exclusively. And my most loved family member in the world is being brainwashed by Fox News. She's not even aware of what's going on in the real world with the Woodward book, with all the stuff that keeps coming out about Trump and this virus and his lying. Like I said, there's two distinct Trump supporters, the ones that just want to stick it to other people. And they know Trump is not good for this country. And they're just purely supporting him out of hatefulness. They're not good people. And then again, there's the second group, the people that are the older people, the older men that are being made angry by Fox News, and the older women that are fearing what Fox News is saying. And they're being brainwashed. I get to a point, and it makes me so angry that I don't understand how, like I said, the people in this town could proudly put these signs up on their $200,000, $300,000 homes in front of their neighbors, in front of their family. How did they defend? How do they defend supporting this man, a liar, a known liar that doesn't even care about the country, a billionaire? How can they possibly sit back and say the whole rest of the world is lying? All the other news companies, all the other channels, all the other newspapers, all the other countries and politicians are all lying, and one billionaire loves you and is telling you the truth. I just don't get it. One last thing I started thinking about, and like I said, this isn't about the country. These Trump supporters, it's not about democracy. It's not about Christianity. It's not about America. It's not about money. It's about Donald Trump, the man. It's a cult following. Look at the way these people dress up with all the flags, the bumper stickers, the Trump gear. Have you ever seen that for any other politician ever? Reagan, Bush, anyone? No, because they at least in the most part were for the country. This is purely a cult following, propped up and in this relationship with Fox News that's brainwashing the older generation of this country. One more thing, a new group of a Republican group similar to the Lincoln Project and Republicans against Trump is coming out, and they have actual mass staff members that were in the Reagan administration, the Bush administration, the Trump administration. Like I said, this is a new Republican group against trying to get Trump out, with very prominent Republican members. And again, these are people that have come to their senses, that realize that this man is tearing apart the country. Going back to Olivia Troye and Pence's advisor that quit, that talked about Donald Trump saying that he didn't want to shake the hand of disgusting people, that COVID-19 might just be a good thing because he won't have to shake the hands of disgusting people. She said, sitting in on these meetings, it was clear to her that Trump cares about no one but himself, that he particularly downplayed, he knew what was going on with the COVID-19 virus and how dangerous it was going to be and the true outcome of what it looked like was going to happen to America. But he intentionally downplayed it because of he wanted his record to show a glowing record of support, and he wanted to be reelected. She sat in on these meetings and she saw this. And again, now you even see Republicans from other past Republican administrations and Trump administration people defecting because they've come to their senses. They realize where this country is headed. And like I said, and yet I still see these people supporting this man. And I just, for the life of me, I don't understand it. I don't understand. What do they tell their kids? What do they tell their grandkids? What do they tell their neighbors? How can they tell that, how can they proudly tell their children that they support a liar, a man who has no problem being dishonest? I don't get it. I don't. Sometimes it scares me, and it makes me think, like I said, it's almost like a zombie apocalypse. Like, I don't know if these people have been affected by some external force, because I don't understand how any rational American could still support this man. All right, you guys have a good Friday.